Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
That's all you have?
I don't know what you want
It's
from
the
me.
biggest week of the year in Hollowell, and the show's a day late because of my cat. It's the biggest week of the year in Hollowell. It's Old Hallowell Day.
We are a day late, and it's not my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's my cat's fault.
Who got an infection?
No, it's not an infection yet. We hopefully nipped it in the bud before that's a thing.
He got pink eye.
No, it's not even pink eye. He has a corneal ulcer. I think I said the first word right. He scratched his eye.
It's a Corleone ulcer?
No. It's
Take him out to a boat, shoot him in the head?
No, it's a Carillion space fighter.
So many close approximations.
Yes.
But we're here.
Yeah,
we're a day late. Not my fault. Never is.
Always a $1 shirt, though.
That's just because I'm poor.
Well, me too. But that notwithstanding, Old Hallowell Day this week.
It is on Saturday. So this week, 20% off, as long as it's not a new release or last week.
There you go. And then I'm sure we'll have a great Old Hallowell Day breakdown. I want to, because
It's
usually
just easier to do.
I haven't really
blanket
hung out
sale.
during Old Hallowell Day. Are you gonna get there before the parade starts? Like, you gonna get open before the parade?
I did that in the past. It's not worth it. It's just gonna be normal hours.
Good luck finding parking through all of this.
I mean, I will because I have my own space. that
I think you should
isn't
try
to
and
the
get there
public.
before the parade and have some treats for the kiddies.
I've been there before the parade. It's not worthwhile. It's just gonna be a regular day.
Well, no, during the parade, people will come into your store.
No, they don't. I've been there. I've done it. As a man who's done
Do
it.
you not enjoy parades?
No, I hate parades.
What's wrong with you?
I don't care.
What's wrong with a good parade?
I've been to some of the best, baby.
Like what?
4th of July in D.C.
That's a pretty decent parade.
It wasn't that good. I don't care for them.
I just don't think you care for large groups of people.
I think parades are boring. I
They're
stand by
not.
it.
No, they're not.
Also, on your every Sunday, I don't like Parade magazine. I hate all parades.
Wow, that you took that a little bit
Every
further.
parade
Wow.
is the worst. All the parades.
Well-
But yeah, so 20% off through Saturday because it's Old Hallowell Day. You know what I am kind of proud of, though, for as much as this construction has sucked?
What?
I haven't had to do a sale. I'm doing this sale because there's a thing happening,
Oh,
but I haven't been forced into one because times in the past when I've had sales was, oh God, I need money.
see, what you need to be doing is
I haven't done it yet, which is
See,
nice.
I'm going to give you a little help, little boost, a little pat on the rump here for the business. What you need to be doing is canvassing the crowd during the parade with little flyers, little things. Photocopy some paper that says 20% off at Editor's Note Comics today. That you need to go through. You need to work the crowd. We'll just walk down one side of Water Street and back up the other side. And when you loop back in, you're in the store ready to go.
Oh, I'll be ready for the people.
What time does the parade start?
I don't even know.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do for you. I am going to help you out. I am going to do a thing for you because I am a good friend.
So just so we're clear, Jared will be giving happy endings to anyone who comes by on Saturday.
Oh, don't anticipate to see my ass in the store at all because I'm going to the beach on Saturday. But what I will do, because it's the staff trip to Reed State Park on Saturday, and we leave at 11. So I will Google the time of the parade, all right? And if it is at a time that is convenient or conducive to me being able to leave Hollowell to get to Reed State with the rest of my summer staff on time, I will help you if you're willing to get up and get down there, canvass the crowd. I'll walk up one side of the street and down the other and tell people 20% off at Editor's Note Comics for Old Hallowell Day.
I got a sandwich board out there.
But if you're not there to put it out, what's the point? And that's only like one little block.
I am the block.
It's on like Donkey Kong, baby. Let's go. I'll even wear my Editor's Note Comics shirt. I have one. I just got to find it somewhere. And I believe it still has the sleeves on it, and I haven't got anything on it.
What a weird bar. Also, random thank you to new Patreon people.
It's not a random thank you. That's a sincere thank you.
It is a thank you. There's been a little influx this week. I don't think it has anything to do with this show. I think it's all the other one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But we do have a new Duke of the podcast. We'll get a theme as soon as we can.
Oh.
Sound guy's on vacation.
Throw up the sound guy signal because Dukes of the podcast.
I shot him an email and I got an automated response. He's like, nice to hear from you. I'm on vacation. I'm like,
A very inconvenient time to be on vacation.
Well, sir, I want free content.
Yeah.
Having a fun time texting over there?
I am.
Good for you.
I'm paying attention. I'm bringing the life and energy to the show right now.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
I know you are.
I'm going to crash after this so hard.
It happens to the best of us.
I said this to you earlier. Like, the downside of owning a business is you're just perpetually kind of ill because you never get a chance to rest.
You need like a super serum. Oh, maybe that's the subject of today's reading corner.
I need a week. I just need a week. I need 1 week to recoup.
Well, you know what you need right now?
I need to do the news.
That's right.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
All right, because weirdly, a high amount of news considering that San Diego is starting this weekend, but we got some newses. I should have shown you a thing.
That's all right.
Maybe we'll talk about it, maybe we won't. Time for the news! You know what movie is finally happening that was rumored for many, many a year, but, was never confirmed?
Paste Pot Pete.
Oh, I wish.
No.
God, I want that movie. Black Widow is happening.
Okay.
So I guess she survives Avengers 4.
It could be a prequel. It could be her
And
early
actually,
days.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, see?
I'm getting there. So, director Kate Shortland. I haven't seen anything that she's done, but apparently Marvel met with over 70 directors, both male and female, tried to pick the best one, and Kate Shortland will be directing a Black Widow solo movie, which I was like, yay, Black Widow solo movie. And then the end of the press release was like, and it's going to be a prequel. And my reaction was, boo, don't care, do not care.
What? It'd be kind of cool to see like early Black Widow.
I don't really care.
How does she get the blood on her ledger?
I don't need to see any more about the red in her ledger. That's been beaten to death in the books. If, yay, Black Widow movie, but don't do a prequel. Don't do a prequel.
Why not?
Because what do we need to know? We know that she was a Russian associate, and then Hawkeye didn't kill her, and then she joined up with S.H.I.E.L.D. I feel like that's all we need to know. I'd rather see, just give me a female James Bond movie that isn't that one with Jennifer Lawrence.
We said Hawkeye didn't kill her. Did Hawkeye mean to say he did kill her?
He was sent on a mission to kill her and didn't.
Okay.
I don't care about a prequel. I'd rather see just a solo Black Widow espionage movie. That shouldn't be that hard to do, especially in the comic book world when your limitations are, budgetary.
Yeah.
But
which I think
imagination-wise, nothing. Budgetary, something. But do like a, $55 million Black Widow movie. You can get away with a lot.
There's probably also not really any thirst for money at Marvel Studios. I think they're
Disney.
doing well.
Yeah, they've made a penny or two.
Yeah, just a couple.
But even if we're talking Disney, did you learn nothing from Solo? Like characters we don't need more backstory on, don't do.
I liked Solo though.
I mean, so did I, but the rest of the world apparently didn't care.
Well, whatever.
I don't know. So this is happening. Hopefully they'll move on from the prequel idea. I would rather see the ongoing adventures of, but, that's just me.
You're just a guy with a comic book store.
Yeah, who's, tangentially connected to this.
Extremely tangentially.
The Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie has been officially greenlit.
I saw that.
Yay?
You don't seem excited.
I don't know.
Do you like that better than the Jared Leto Joker movie?
Yes.
Say no more.
I am not a big fan of this DC extended universe so far. They could turn it around. There's nothing to say that they can't make it better.
Yeah.
Look at some of the Marvel Phase 1 stuff. Some of those movies are fine. They're not great movies. Like, look at the first Thor, or the first Captain America, or Iron Man 2, or The Incredible Hulk, or Thor the Dark World. These movies are fine, but they're not going to, knock your socks off.
We've said it before, and we've said it again. DC has a built-in reset button, and they refuse to push it by making a Flashpoint movie.
But, this is going to be a standalone thing of, what is the Joker's origin? But then does that mean we're casting a different Batman in this universe? Because what would a Joker movie be without at least a Batman cameo? And no, don't show me 1989 Batman style. Like, oh, he kills Thomas and Martha Wayne. Like, if we're going to get a Joker movie, you got to have some Batman in there. So does that mean we're going to cast Armie Hammer?
I don't know.
We could. He was originally in the George Miller Justice League that didn't happen because of the writer's strike 10 years back.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that name out there. But yeah, we'd have to get some Batman in there.
What about you? Would you play Batman?
No, my hair's not dark enough.
They could probably dye it.
That's the only reason.
Not the scraggly beard or the round belly you have going on right now?
No, the hair.
The hair.
You saw weird homeless man Christian Bale man who can't grow a beard to save his life in Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, that's a rough beard.
Yeah, if DC wants to do this versus like the shared universe thing, I'd be all about it. I mean, that's what we had for movies for years. It's like, oh, someone's going to do a specific thing around the specific character. We're going to make maybe a trilogy, or we're going to make one. Sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't. But if you want to do the alternate universe thing, go for it, I guess. I don't know how I feel about doing it concurrently. I guess if you can make it
It's
work.
an alternate 1985.
If you can make it work, great.
Somewhere the timeline skewed off into this tangent.
But if, I don't know, I don't know if you can try and juggle both ends. If you can try and do one, do it well. If you can try and do the other, do it well. I don't know if you can try and do like, we're throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks, which kind of seems to be the business model.
A little desperate.
Hopefully it's good. I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I want? I want it to be good.
That's it. That's all we ever want.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. DC does have a leg up on Marvel in their animated department, though.
Oh, yeah. I've seen... Oh, boy. I haven't watched a Marvel animated thing in a million years. Because they were all terrible. Or last I checked, they were. Man, I got to show you some photos. I should have done this ahead of time.
All right, well, the magic
But I won't
of
do it now.
editing.
RoboCop.
What, more RoboCop?
Oh, we're not just getting more RoboCop. We're doing the new favorite thing.
What is that? A RoboCop reboot?
RoboCop sequel, erasing all of the bad movies.
Hmm.
We're getting RoboCop 2.
Wait, don't we already have a RoboCop?
Forget
2?
Forget RoboCop 2. Forget RoboCop 3. They're gone. They are out of the canon.
What about the RoboCop reboot?
Forget about it. I never saw that. I heard good things though.
Yeah.
Did you see it? I didn't see it.
No.
Yeah, me either. But there's going to be a new RoboCop based on the original script for RoboCop 2 that was scrapped, and it will be directed by Neil Blomkamp. You're looking around, so I'm going to say you don't recognize the name.
No, I don't.
You see District 9?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that was his good one. He's
Oh.
only done like 3 movies. You see Elysium?
Parts of it.
Sucked. I hated it.
That's the one where Matt Damon's bald, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
You see Chappie?
No.
I did really hated it. I've seen all of his movies. District 9 is great, but... And this was a guy who was also working on the unofficial Aliens sequel that got scrapped because Ridley Scott wanted to do a...
Wasn't Peter
Yeah,
Jackson
you
tied to
kinda
District 9?
He might have been... I think he was a producer on it.
Oh, okay.
Or it might have been one of those ones where it's like, so-and-so presents, meaning that they just put a little bit of money to put their name in front of it.
Is it like an alien internment camp or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, District 9 is great, but he's done 3 movies, 2 of them I hate.
Okay.
I've seen them all. Didn't like 2 of them, especially Chappie. What a movie.
All right.
It was also, the trailers build you a totally different movie than you were going into, so maybe I went into it with that bias, but I still don't think it was a good movie.
Good to know.
But yeah, RoboCop returns. We're getting a RoboCop sequel. Do we get Peter Weller?
No.
Why not? He hated that suit, but now you don't got to do the suit. You just got to do a green screen. You just got to put him in a green bodysuit.
You probably could do that, yeah.
And he's still, pretty svelte, in shape.
Like an older RoboCop still working the streets.
Yeah, I can see it.
You know what I want?
I could really see Peter Weller
I
coming back.
want Judge Dredd too, but I want it with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Rob Schneider. The law.
That's a movie.
Didn't
is
say
that
it was good.
95?
That was not good.
That giant golden cod
That was
piece.
yeah, that was huge cod piece.
I hate that movie. It's such a bad movie.
It's not a good movie.
I'll never watch it again. But yeah, RoboCop sequel, because that's the new thing.
Tell me more.
Just sequelize.
Do we have
something.
a date?
I don't think so. It was just announced. Frank Miller worked on, I think, 2 and 3 as a scripter.
Really?
Because he definitely had a comic book adaptation. It's like, oh, they didn't do the script I wanted, so then he put it out as a comic of like, this is what I really intended. I think it just might have been 3. He might have been involved on 2. I don't remember. I'm not looking it up. Speaking of things that have very late sequels, I found a segue there.
Wow.
Titan Comics. They're a smallish publisher, but they are going to be publishing in-canon Blade Runner comics. Unclear where it's going to happen. You still haven't seen Blade Runner 2049. I highly recommend it. It's better than the first one.
More than Chappie?
Fuck Chappie.
So if I have a choice to red box either Blade Runner 2049 or Chappie, I should not get Chappie.
I really hated Chappie.
Okay.
I really hated Chappie. District 9 was so good, but every movie he's done since then has just been diminishing returns.
Okay.
Yeah, so Titan's publishing in-canon Blade Runner stuff, so I guess it's going to be in the movie universe versus the Philip K. Dick Bookiverse, which didn't have a sequel.
I don't know anything about that, so I'm going to bow to your expertise.
Do you not know that?
No.
Blade Runner was based on a Philip K. Dick title, Do Androids Dream of Electric
Oh,
Sheep?
yeah. I knew that.
I've read the
It took
book,
me a
I've
moment.
seen the movie. They share so few similarities. I was kind of shocked that they had to give him any credit at all.
The concept, probably.
Barely. They are so night and day. You just could have called it its own thing and probably no one would have said like, hey, it's kind of like that thing. They are deeply, deeply different. But yeah, so Blade Runner comics are happening from Titan. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about... Oh boy, I got to show you so many images. I have to show you at least 3 images.
All right.
So let's talk about a movie.
Okay.
Let's keep talking about movies before I show you 3 images at least. Birds of Prey, which is going into production next year, that we just learned last week. We now have characters that are going to be in the Birds of Prey movie aside from Harley Quinn.
So it's a separate movie?
I mean, for all the Harley Quinn movies that were, air quotes, announced, or at least, I want to call them like market testing. Like, how are people reacting? So Birds of Prey are going to involve Black Canary.
Canaries are real vicious.
Huntress.
That's a raptor if I've ever heard one.
Cassandra Cain.
I have no idea.
At one point, she was Batgirl. In a new continuity, she is going by a character named Orphan.
Well, at least one of those has wings.
She's a real badass that likes to murder.
Oh, wow.
A young teenage badass.
Wow.
And Renee Montoya. She is a cop. A Gotham City police detective.
Dun, dun, dun.
Not really, but that's what it is.
Does she work for Jim Gordon?
Yeah. I mean, those are all interesting enough characters. If you want to go with it, go with it. Supposedly that's what's happening. What else we got? You want to do comics? You want to do TV? You want to do movies?
Let's do TV.
You tell me what you want. All right, I got a couple of TV stories this week. On the CW, of all of those shows, Flash.
The former WB?
Yeah. Supergirl, Green Arrow, or no, I'm sorry, just regular old Arrow, Black Lightning, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
There will be a new show, Batwoman. Batwoman is getting her own show.
Good for Batwoman.
If you can't do Batman, do Batwoman. Batwoman has a military father, likes to, clearly focus herself based on Batman. Her biggest news story in the last couple of years that we've talked about is that this is a openly gay character. When she was going to marry her girlfriend, DC said, no, you can't marry her. And then all the news reports were DC says no to gay marriage. And at the time, their mandate was no marriage, period. We've talked about it
a little bit,
3 times. But yeah, so Batwoman is getting her own show under Greg Berlanti, who's done all the other stuff. So probably it will be good. I've kind of fallen off all that for the most part. Not intentionally. It was just, sort of those like, oh man, I got to watch that episode. I'll get around to it. Oh no.
Yeah.
8 months have passed.
About that.
Yeah. Hopefully when it gets to Netflix and I can finish off the end of the seasons that I was watching, but we'll see, maybe kind of, sort of. Other news, Joss Whedon has a new show.
Does he now?
Titled The Nevers. This is going to HBO, which involves Victorian women who inherit some kind of powers and then do things with them. This sounds very much like a comic book series that he had coming out that never got off the ground. I think it was called Twist. It was all about a Victorian era woman that he said was like Victorian Batman. But, Joss Whedon doing a small waif female character. Gosh, I haven't seen that half a dozen times.
That's a lot of sarcasm coming off your voice there.
There's a point where you just see the strings.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, HBO has possibilities. They have A, a budget, B, you can curse and all that. You're not dealing with network television.
He can go for the hard R.
Yeah, he can go for the hard R. We're bringing it back.
The hard R, baby.
But yeah, okay, cool. I guess it just feels like going back to the same well.
Well, I mean, if it's...
just because you put a different setting on it doesn't mean you're not going back to the same old stuff.
But I feel like there's only so many stories to tell.
I would only request that he doesn't have sex with any of them.
It's a solid request.
Maybe, don't have sex with people working for you.
That's a solid life tip. Pro tip from Zach.
I mean, he looks like a bloated potato at this point.
Wow.
I say as a man who enjoys his work and does a whole podcast about it, he can still be a bad guy.
Love the artist. I love the art, not the artist.
Yeah. I was just one of those things. It was like, we've seen this. Just because you're putting it in a different setting doesn't mean you're not going back to the same well. It's more interesting to see something different. I mean, compared to his work, that's part of why Firefly and Serenity are so great, because it isn't the exact same thing that he's done before.
Got a little spice and variety to it.
And even that, there is a, tiny, powerful female.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's also a very buff, powerful female in that.
That's also very important.
But yeah. So that's a thing. I've also learned not to click on things on Twitter, because whenever you click on anything that's trending on Twitter, it's always negative.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Or at least what I've noticed. If you click on the top tweets, those usually seem to be negative, but if you click on recent's
much better.
Those seem to be more positive.
Yes.
That's what
because top tweets get more, they have more exposure and more interaction.
That's what this news story kind of reinforced in my brain. Some comic news. Wonder Woman will be getting a new writer in G. Willow Wilson. I don't think that's a name we've brought up on the show before, but she is a relatively popular writer in comics and
it's got a good name.
Independent and mainstream media. She's enough of a name that when I saw that she was going to be taking over Wonder Woman, I was like, ooh, that's intriguing. Is the cat kneading the couch? Hit it.
Yes.
Stop him. Is he what's he attacking? Stop it.
Just the chair thing.
Yeah, so G. Willow Wilson will be taking over Wonder Woman. She's very good, so I imagine she's going to do a good job. In the world of Marvel Comics, the Fantastic Four will be getting a new headquarters, mostly because the Baxter Building was sold in their absence, I assume.
Oh, wow. How can you sell the Baxter building?
Spider-Man took it over and then he lost all his money.
Damn it, Spider-Man.
Agreed. Damn it, Spider-Man.
I feel like J. Jonah Jameson.
More comic news.
Triple J.
I do like Jameson. The Marvel series What If will be making a return. This is an alternate timeline. Like one of the ones is, hey, what if Spider-Man became the Punisher? That's kind of the one they're leading with. What If is a fun series because it's literally just alternate universe stuff, and 9 times out of 10, everyone dies because it's a universe where nothing matters.
Wow.
It's true. That's how like almost every What If goes. Is everyone dies.
That way they don't have to keep writing it.
Usually just one-offs, and it's a universe that they'll never revisit, so it's like, hey, what if this? Oh, they're all dead. Almost every time, but I'm glad to see What If back. It's a fun series.
String theory.
James Bond has had a number of books coming out from Dynamite Comics, and they have one of my favorite writers of all time getting on board to do an ongoing Bond book. Mostly what they've been doing is like 6-issue arcs.
Is it Brian Michael Bendis?
It's not Bendis.
Damn.
I forgot to do Bendis news this week.
You suck.
He's doing fine.
Okay, good. I was worried about him.
Greg Pak is going to be taking over for Dynamite, doing a ongoing Bond story. It's one of the best out there. No complaints. Big week for Maine in the comic book world.
Yeah, I saw you tweeted about that.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's coming to Maine. It is
Everyone's
vacation
all
land.
about Maine, baby.
It's the way life should be.
Life of Captain Marvel, which is going to be a 5-issue mini. Marvel has been billing it as the definitive Captain Marvel origin. Turns out she grew up in Harpswell.
Oh, wow. Just
Yeah.
down the road a piece.
What's really great about the first issue is a lot of the stuff in there is photorealistic. Like, it all takes place on that one road in Harpswell.
Harpswell, baby.
Yeah. No, so, like, literally panel 1 is the steps at the very end.
Yep.
And they show, like, the bridge in there, and there's all the stuff. It's, like, literally that one road. But they also go to Brunswick. Frosties is replaced with a donut shop called Sugar's.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
I don't know.
Boo.
Whatever. It's Frosties.
I love Frosties.
What do you want from me? I've never been, but I'm aware of where it is.
You've never been to Frosties?
I'm not a sugar guy. You know this.
That's true. Man,
I like a plain donut if I'm going to have a donut.
they make such good frosted donuts, dude.
I'm sure they do.
Oh, and they're braids. Oh my god, those are good too.
But yeah,
I want one now. Ah.
All the stuff they have in that book is so photorealistic. Like, you can, if you're from this area, you can point all that stuff out immediately. And I love the way like Maine is depicted in Maine, summers especially.
It's true.
It's great stuff. It's a really, and as much as I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, like, I haven't cared about Captain Marvel in a while. The last couple of runs have not held my interest.
Now it's got Maine a little bit.
I ended up falling off of them, not because of the character. I like the character. The character goes way, like, I have like interest in that character going back to like her days as Binary in Claremont's X-Men. But yeah, it grabbed me so hard, and also just having the extra added bonus of like, oh, this stuff is like less than an hour away from us, and it's so photo perfect. It's great. I love that book. Also, Batman 51 is out this week, and that my store's in Hollowell, Maine. Come visit it, 210 Water Street
In Hollowell.
Yeah, but this next arc of Batman is being illustrated by an artist who used to live in Hollowell. He still has family in the area. He doesn't live here anymore, but he is, a native to Hollowell, which is really cool seeing, because he's a big time artist, but seeing him on, DC's like flagship title is really cool.
Get him to come home. Stop by the store.
I've sent him a couple of messages, no response.
Persistence, man. Persistence.
It's funny because I've had like some of his family members come in. They're like, "Oh, do you know this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm aware of him.
I've heard of him.
I know who he is." But thanks for asking.
Mm.
It is fun, like seeing like family members come out with like a level of pride just because they're from the area. What else we got before I have to show you images and we pause for a moment? Electric Warriors. That's a book that's happening. Never heard of it before because it's a new thing. Steve Orlando, mostly known for his Suicide Squad stuff, will be writing it. And why is Electric Warriors interesting? It will be following up on Jack Kirby's Great Disaster, his post-apocalyptic world that existed in his Commandy books. Maybe that's a hint for next week. Maybe it's not.
Sounds like it is.
In the future, something happened that destroyed the world, and then...
Are you talking like metaphorically or realistically?
I mean, in DC Comics.
Oh, just in DC in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
This hasn't been introduced in their new continuity yet, the idea of the Great Disaster, but where basically most of humanity dies, and then the world is taken over by anthropomorphic animals who can talk, and they hate humans.
That's not good.
But the Great Disaster will be coming back with Electric Warriors. It's going to be a 6-issue mini. I'm a big Commandy fan, so I'm all about it, and Steve Orlando's a great writer. What else we got? Time to show you images.
Yes, please do.
And pause. Ah, man, I don't have my phone. Can I see your phone?
Yes.
Just get me to the internet.
Don't look up anything weird.
Wasn't planning on it. The Aquaman trailer will be dropping this weekend at San Diego, and we have our first official poster, hunky Aquaman surrounded by dolphins.
Yes, with the DC logo right in the middle of the Aquaman logo.
I'm all about it. I think it looks
Well,
good.
dolphins, sharks, killer whales. It's a who's who of the underground world.
I am cautiously optimistic about this movie.
I am too. I'm excited for it. I initially joked about not wanting an Aquaman movie, but really, I think their standalone movies are better than their ensemble
I
movies.
just want a good movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think Aquaman has potential, and I hope it's good. We have our first official image of Shazam in the upcoming movie with Zachary Levi
Oh, look at him.
through Entertainment Weekly. I have mixed feelings about this.
I want to know more about the DuckTales byline.
A woohoo.
Billy Batson.
Yeah, I mean, I love the colors on this. I like that it's a bright, vibrant costume.
It looks like the lightning bolt glows.
But on the other hand, for as good a shape as I'm sure Zachary Levi is in, I'm sure, like, fantastic shape, there's a lot of padding on that costume. That doesn't look natural.
Yes, there's a fair
Which
amount.
is a thing that a lot of comic book costumes have done. You know, they add some layers in there. Like, that goes back, I shouldn't say a long ways, because it's not like comic book costumes are a, long running thing, but, for the past 10 plus years, at least, like, adding some padding is not unheard of. But this looks kind of fake.
Well, I mean, there's also a set photo.
It kind of reminds me of, like, Affleck in Justice League, where, like, they spent so much time in Batman v Superman taking his shirt off, and then in Justice League, they're like, leave the shirt on! Affleck's off the wagon.
Well, I mean, also, you look at the set photo, the still image that they released.
It's so padded.
Maybe it's to make him look bigger, because when he...
That is what it's meant to do, but still, like, that's not the point.
When he says, by the power of whatever...
It's not He-Man.
Oh, did you say Shazam?
He just says, Shazam!
Oh.
And then a lightning bolt strikes down, and a little boy turns into a little man with padding on him.
A little boy turns into a little man, or a little boy turns into a big man?
No, he turns into a little man with padding on his costume.
Wow.
But I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I love the color.
Are you saying he has LMS?
No. Just
Okay.
saying he's not as big as they were planning.
All right.
What's my other photo? Scrolling. Found it. We have a teaser trailer, which I didn't show you because it's boring and crappy.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
we get our first image of Godzilla in Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Godzilla! Oh, wow. Look at that.
He's shooting his atomic breath into the sky. A beacon.
But he's also, like, rearing back with his chest. He's, like, really pushing his chest out here.
I mean,
He's flexing on it.
Godzilla's like 1940s in shape where he's a little bit overweight but also buff.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
I love it.
Right, we're going to be seeing that movie in, I don't remember now, 2019 or 2020. One of those two. But I think it looks good.
He's been hitting the Godzilla gym.
I mean, you know me. You've also watched one with me. I like some old school Godzilla.
Yeah, especially where he beats down King Kong and...
That is certainly one of my favorites. Or Godzilla versus Monster X is right up there. Or Godzilla. What's the name of that one? The one with the Jet Jaguar, whatever that one is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm blanking on the title. Either way, I like me some old school Godzilla. And if we're getting Atomic Breath, did you see the 2014 Godzilla?
No, but I heard it was a lot better than the 2000 Godzilla.
Yeah, million
Here,
times.
lizard. Remember that commercial for Taco Bell?
There were so many commercials. Like, his foot is as big as this bus. Oh, man, so much marketing for that movie. In Godzilla Final Wars, that was one that Toho put out in 2004. They had Japanese Godzilla fight the American Godzilla. It's unfortunately 2004, so the background music is new metal, and it's awful.
Oh, nice.
But he just flips his tail, throws American Godzilla into the Sydney Opera House, and just destroys him in one atomic blast.
I kind of need to just see that.
I mean, you could, but you have to suffer through the new metal background that's happening.
I like new metal.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You are terrible.
Godzilla Final Wars is a deeply entertaining movie. It sucks.
Minus the new metal. Wait, it's deeply entertaining, but it sucks.
Yeah.
My kind of movie.
100%, yes.
My kind of movie. Bring it on.
I had to watch that when I was working at a job in college, and I watched it on a PSP when they had like those movies that were made for PSP.
Yeah.
So I watched that movie on about a 3-inch screen.
Do you think it would hold up on a bigger screen?
Yes.
Okay.
I watched many a movie that way.
Why?
Because I was working at EB Games, and we had a bunch of PSP movies to sell, and I just watched them on a PSP.
Wow. Did you then repackage them and sell them as new?
No, they were all used. I couldn't open up the new ones.
Oh. That sounds like a fun job at EB Games.
It wasn't difficult.
I guess not.
I think the worst day I had there was Black Friday, and it was like 3 a.m. All these people were standing outside the store, and like the gate was down, and I was trying to eat my breakfast that I got at Dunkin' Donuts from downstairs. It was like when they had breakfast pizzas. I don't think they have those anymore.
No, I don't.
But I just like turned away from everyone, and I ate it really fast, and I burned the roof of my mouth. I'm like, oh man!
Then you proceeded to just sling video games all day.
Yeah, this is until like 8 or 9 in the morning. It was awful. Hate Black Friday.
Yeah.
When you work in a mall.
Yes, that's probably no good.
But I guess those are all of the images. Made that one last. All right, time for a Jared Sports Reports.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
Not a whole lot going on. France won the World Cup over Croatia. Good job, France. Vive la France.
For the first time in 20 years?
Yeah, it's been quite a while. Everyone was really pleased with the tournament. I guess the quality of play was good, and all the venues in Russia were good, so it was a successful World Cup. Let's see, what else? Bryce Harper won the Home Run Derby in Nationals Park, which he plays 82 games a year in, or 81, whatever. Let's see, 160, 81 games a year in. So good for him. And the American League will have home field advantage in the World Series as they won in extra innings in what was a relatively entertaining All-Star game just the other night.
I saw news.
Yeah.
I didn't look into it. I saw it was a thing.
What?
The All-Star game.
Yeah, it was there. It was a thing. It was, people seemed to enjoy it pretty well. So there's all of that. It's
Kawhi Leonard got traded.
Kawhi Leonard got traded, yes.
Not to the Celtics, as
Nope.
was the expectation.
But the Celtics are in very deep, spirited, and productive contract talks with Marcus Smart.
Yeah, that's weird.
No, makes sense. They can kind of get a hometown discount maybe for him a little bit, but lock him in. He wants to be there, and I thought he was a very productive member of their team. So
his stats don't reflect how he is, but he probably spoke out too early of like, I'm deeply offended they haven't made an offer.
Well,
like, yeah, they're trying to save money.
They are now.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, if he does, it'd be nice if he stayed, but if he doesn't,
I want them to keep Larkin because you hate him.
Of course you do.
But that's just me. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to think of other good sports reports stuff. That's all I really have.
There were no controversies this week. I'm not trying to lead you. I'm just saying that in general.
Not that I've really paid much attention to. I've kind of steered away from that. I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to the news. So
Hey, you had some.
I did. The highlights.
Yeah, I mean, World Cup seemed to be the biggie this week.
Yes.
I only saw it if it was on a TV near me.
Well, you have 2 in your house.
I mean, that's a
3, actually.
That's a very American thing.
They have 3 TVs.
Oh, just not to pay attention to soccer.
That's also very true. Well, America wasn't in it.
Of course, because we don't care about it, so we don't have anyone good at it.
We're not a very good soccer country now.
Even though we're apparently hosting it next time.
No, 2 times from now.
Last I heard, the ball was in our court.
It's a soccer pitch. That's what it's called. It's a pitch, not a court.
Oh no, I was going off of the Helsinki thing with Putin. It was supposed to be an underhanded comment, but now you're calling me out on it. When he gave that dumbass soccer ball, and Trump was like, "I'm going to give it to Barron," and then just threw it into the crowd.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm beyond that.
Yeah, hey, democracy was fun. We had a good run.
Well, yeah.
That's the thing we try not to talk about on this show. We didn't even talk about that tonight. We usually do.
And now,
oh boy, what a week!
Time for Jared's reading corner.
What a week we had. Yeah, let's talk about more positive things and talk about a dead man.
It's Jared's reading corner.
You're not doing very good with this whole positive, upbeat attitude thing this week.
I'm trying, man.
You're almost there. We're almost there.
I am deeply. I've been ill for like a week. I am trying.
Well, as we all know, last week we unfortunately lost Steve Ditko. And one of the things he was most famous for was being a co-creator of Spider-Man and being one of the lead artists on some really iconic Spider-Man stuff. And so this week, Zach gave me Spider-Man to read.
Spider-Man 33. Also, I appreciate your energy. I like that you're trying to bring me up because I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna meet you.
I'm here for you.
I'm gonna get there. I'll do it. I'm so sorry, everyone.
That's okay.
I'm dying on the vine.
Anyway, in this, we kind of, it's the tail end of an arc where Aunt May was sick, exposed to some sort of radiation. It's the end of a Dr. Octopus arc as well.
Yeah, this was a 3-issue arc starting in number 31, ending in number 33. Number 33 of Amazing Spider-Man is probably Steve Ditko's most famous work. As I think I mentioned last week, he yelled at the cat?
Yes.
Is there a mouse over there?
No, he was assuming the I'm under arrest pose up against your wall.
Oh, just we've had some mice hiding in the heaters. That's the only reason I was asking.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see any mice.
There might be a mouse over there. Is the conclusion here?
Okay, cool.
Steve Ditko did not care at all about revisiting his old work. He would rather have you talk about his more recent and Rand kind of books. But at the same time, he would also be deeply offended if he wasn't given proper credit for his work on Spider-Man. And most people, I think including myself, would point to the peak of his work being in this issue. Let's just, get this omnibus open, the one that you could kill a man with. It is deeply heavy.
There's also some interesting things in this, and I'll talk about it when I get into the actual reading corner, that are almost out of the first couple of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, this whole issue kind of revolves around Spider-Man lifting a heavy thing. That's a big old Spider-Man trope of Spider-Man lifting a heavy thing. So I guess the thing to talk about in this one, which the art in this whole issue is really amazing.
Yes,
but
very good art.
There is a very specific couple of pages that kind of highlight the peak of Steve Ditko's contribution. And as with anything, we have the Marvel method, and we talked about this last week, where Steve Ditko, especially at this point, most people, including Jack Kirby, they would talk out a plot with Stan, and then they would do the art, and then give it to Stan to draw. At this point, Steve Ditko, being the recluse that he was just doing all of the art by himself, not consulting with Stan, and just turning it in.
What was interesting to me, which
is why he gets a plotting credit, because he literally was like, "Here it is, I'm done. Doing the next one."
Yeah, that was the big thing for me. It was usually say inks or pencils or art by, but this had plot and illustrations.
Yeah, because
it's interesting they also call it illustrations in this as opposed to art.
Yeah, I think because I should have double checked because I did it last week too. I think Steve Ditko was the first one to get a plotting credit. I feel like Roy Thomas might have been the second one. I could also be wrong there. If I'm wrong, I didn't mean to be, but I think I'm right. And for all honesty, for these first couple of pages, which are the biggies, Stan does his Stan thing and he does his dialogue over everything. But for the most part, I'm looking at it, I'm going, Stan doesn't need to be here. The art is telling the story so completely. If you just cut out Stan's dialogue,
yeah,
I would understand everything that's going on. So the quick premise is Spider-Man is trapped under this massive contraption. Oh my god, it's never happened to Spider-Man before, being under a big thing.
Yeah, that he has to lift after fighting Dr. Octopus and winning. Good for him.
But what I love, so Spider-Man is under this thing. Aunt May is sick. He has to get out from under this thing to get this certain isotope that will heal her because, fragile old lady, or Marissa Tomei.
Wow, there's your energy. You found it.
I found it in Tomei. But did you notice the panel structure here? I am pointing at the page. Do you notice what happens?
They get bigger.
Yeah. So Spider-Man is crushed under this thing, and he's gathering the strength. He's like, Uncle Ben died. If I don't do this, Aunt May is going to die. I need to save one of the most important people in my life. And the panels at the top of the page are kind of small. Spider-Man is crushed. He starts to lift it up. And as he's lifting the contraption, I don't know why I need to show you the actual raising the roof that I'm doing with my hands, but I'm going to do it. As he lifts the contraption, the panels get bigger. He is literally pushing the gutters of the page up as he goes. And we have 3 successions of kind of smaller panels, medium panels as he's pushing up. And then right before he gets the entire thing up, we turn the page and we get a 3/4 splash of him almost getting it. And then we get a full splash page of him pushing it up. He has literally pushed the comic up out of the frame. It's fantastic. I love this. Is some of the best, in all honesty. I don't know if I can point to better panel work than I can in these 3 pages. I truly can't think of anything better. He's pushing the physics of the comic out of everything, overcoming this physical manifestation. It's beautiful.
See, what I think would be a cool episode is if you help break down the anatomy of panel work.
I don't know if I'm that smart.
We should find somebody who is.
But this one, it's pretty clear what's happening, so I can run with that.
Yeah.
But in general, I'm not that smart because I'm not an
Sound
artist
guy.
And I have bad. Yeah, thanks. But I'm as much as I love comic art, I don't have that visual brain necessarily. But you can see this stuff so
this
clearly.
Is pretty straightforward.
But it's so perfect. It's literally 3 pages of Spider-Man just pushing up this heavy contraption, going I need to save Aunt May. I need to be that guy. And we see it go from little to a little bit bigger to a little bit bigger, literally pushing the page up.
And then a huge splash page.
And then just, him shoving this contraption out of nowhere.
Out of everywhere.
Yeah, literally
it's gone.
Getting
G-O-N-E,
the recess
gone.
of his strength. And then we see him, he's tired, he's beaten, he's bruised, fighting off. And this is, I said, this part we don't necessarily need to see Stan's dialogue. The next part I feel like we do. Dr. Octopus's goons attack Spider-Man, and he's like, I will never give up.
Oh yeah,
I will fight. Like,
it's like, I'm gonna fight till it's over, and then he's like,
like,
I just kicked everyone's
he's like,
ass.
even if I lose, I can't be upset if I know that I gave everything. I mean, clearly he doesn't want to lose because he wants to save Aunt May, but he is literally like throwing these haymaker punches. Like, I need to win. I need to overcome this. And if I lose, I need to know that I put everything that I had into it. And it's incredible. We don't even really see him win. Like, we get kind of like Spider-Man's perspective when it's all said and done. He's like, oh, I won.
Yeah, I just went into this zone and beat everyone down.
It was like seeing red almost.
I also like the art before we got to that, where he kind of like, he's like, my leg hurts, but he uses the underwater capabilities and floats along. That was really cool.
There was the use of the term deluge, which is so rarely used, but I enjoyed it.
Yes.
How often do you get to say deluge?
Not very often.
Yeah, rarely. Stan finds a way. Stan always had this thing. It's like, if I had to make a kid go to a dictionary, then I did my job.
That's fair.
Seeing as I'm 30 and know what the term deluge is, but, I still appreciate Stan's vocabulary.
It's very extensive.
Hey there, true believer. You ever seen a deluge?
I did yesterday when it was raining out, actually. It rained quite heavily. No, but I also really like is kind of the interweaving of like, there's no real villain in this Spider-Man comic. It's just like Peter's trying to save Aunt May.
It's a postscript to a big battle that just happened. And like I said, this happens between issue 31 and 33, but we're just doing 33. And Steve Ditko left in a couple of months. He left by 38.
Yeah.
For as big as his impact is, he doesn't... He does some time on Spider-Man, but he doesn't have like a massive part of it. He certainly, I think more than any artist or creator on Spider-Man, has had the biggest input, which is insane how much he did in such a little amount of time as far as like introducing characters and introducing this Spider-Man story, which I think I mentioned it last week, but like I talked about this run, I think I called it like the third best comic run of all time, of like they lay the groundwork in these first 38 issues, and that is Spider-Man. Like that doesn't change, like compared to like the X-Men, which suck in the beginning, and that was Stan and Jack, and it's super boring, and it didn't get interesting until like 15 years later with Len Wein and was it John Byrne who did the art?
Yes, the wrong hombre.
No, Dave Cockrum. There we go. I got there.
I was
close.
I'm sure you were. I'm going to give you all the credit.
I know I'm right now.
Okay.
But I mean, Spider-Man, they laid out this whole thing, and more than any other issue, like this is the issue that kind of idealizes Spider-Man. Comparatively, I think one of my favorite issues of The Flash, which I think was under when Jeff Johns was doing it, which reminds me a lot of this, where I'm convinced he took the inspiration from, is it's Wally West Flash, and someone needs to get an organ transplant, but it's across the country, and it's during like a blizzard. And the whole issue is just him trying to get across the country, and there's also like people along the way that he's trying to help and all that crap. And it's a wonderful issue about like overcoming all of these obstacles just to get this very simple thing done, which very much reminds me of this issue, which
kind of reminds me of like a day at work. Like you have this mission, this goal when you start your day, and it never goes the way that you want it to go.
I mean, this issue for me, this is Spider-Man. Like if I had to point to one issue to be like, who is Spider-Man? It's this. We also got Betty Brant in here, who sucks. She sucks so hard.
We also get some Jonah Jameson, which is awesome.
Yeah, he's so awful. He's like, I'm going to take down Spider-Man. Oh boy. And they're like, why are you smiling? He's like, because I suck.
Yeah, I'm a jerk.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Betty Brant was Peter Parker's first love interest in all these books.
Before Gwen Stacy?
Before Gwen, before Mary Jane. Yeah, there was Betty Brant, and she sucks. She gets better, but in the early days, she is the worst. She is the Dory Evans of Spider-Man.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, you remember Dory Evans.
She was terrible.
Yeah.
The Human Torch can do so much better.
Let's just get the two of them together in one book.
Bitch fest.
Dory Evans and Betty Brant just whining.
You hate Dory Evans.
I do hate Dory Evans.
She's the worst.
Yeah, Dory sucked. So is Betty Brant in the early days. She gets better, but Dory Evans really doesn't. But I mean,
but what's nice about this is it tied up all the loose ends from the previous two issues, and it resets it so you can kind of move on and go to the next thing.
I mean, Spider-Man's physical strength. He is one of the strongest characters in the Marvel Universe, and even we've seen that recently in movies. Like the whole Infinity War thing, like why didn't Spider-Man die as quickly as the rest of them is because he is physically stronger. And there's been great stuff. It's going maybe back like 5-6 years of Dan Slott's run of Spider-Man, where Spider-Man's brain is taken over by Dr. Octopus, and he starts fighting some of Spider-Man's villains, including like blinding the Vulture and punching the jaw off of Scorpion. Ooh. Because Spider-Man is so strong that no matter what he's doing and what he's fighting, he has to pull his punches because he's so powerful.
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility.
It's super gross when he like punched off Scorpion's jaw.
Poor
Like
Scorpion.
he's just that strong. It's like, ah! And we've done earlier Spider-Man. So what do you think about kind of the progression? Because let's, take our brick of an omnibus
Yes.
and flip back to the early days that you would have seen when Spider-Man was a little more spindly. What do you think about the progression from like wee little man to what we see in 33? He's not like, like Schwarzenegger built, but he is certainly a broader build.
Yeah.
What do you think of, with the Steve Ditko?
I think the coloring is
progression?
different too. The blue is a brighter blue.
It
stands out more.
The coloring you're looking at is updated coloring for the omnibus, though. Like, the original coloring, they try and keep it close, but to make it cleaner. But I wouldn't focus on the coloring too much.
No, but I like it's a cleaner looking Spider-Man in the stuff that I just read, as opposed to like the origin episodes that I read.
We still get that kind of contorted figure, but he's a broader figure, I guess is the term I'm looking for.
Yeah, his head is thinner and longer. He's got a longer neck. He doesn't look very...
I believe his power more, I guess.
Yes, because he looks powerful.
Especially that full page splash that we get of him just throwing this thing off of him finally when he literally lifts the weight of the comic off of his shoulders.
Yes.
Like, that is a jacked dude.
And pushes it, like, up, and he looks big. He looks impressive.
Which is funny when you think about, like, the original reason that Kirby didn't get this job is because that he drew a too bulky character.
Yeah.
And Stan went to someone else. He's like, this isn't quite what I'm looking for. Like, draw me a spindly guy. And then Ditko's Spider-Man, he never got, like, big. Like, we've seen some...
big Spider-Mans.
Yeah, not in this show, I don't think, but we've...
No, he looks...
There definitely been some big Spider-Mans.
He looks believable.
Yeah, this issue, I totally understand why people point to it, because if you look at the panel work, for as much as Steve Ditko was like very creative, like it looked at his Doctor Strange stuff where it's like getting all weird and psychedelic and cosmic, when talking about a guy who wouldn't want to be within 100 feet of a marijuana cigarette.
Reefers.
Good call.
Thank you.
I got it. But yeah, man, that panel work, that's insane.
It's good panel work. It really helps tell the story. Like you said, you could almost go without any dialogue through those first 3 or 4 pages.
I don't need standing there at all.
And it's kind of like, what's happening? What's happening? Like, why? How did Spider-Man... Well, we knew how he ended up there from the previous episode, but what's going through his mind? What's going on? Like,
also,
I like
Aunt
that.
May lives.
No,
Side note,
spoiler
she's fine.
And J. Jonah Jameson screws Peter Parker out of money, and Peter's like, I'm winning this battle.
Well, it's so funny because we covered it very early on. I think it was in issue 2, because, Uncle Ben is dead at that point, and Peter gets enough money for taking photos of Spider-Man to cover Aunt May's rent for a year.
Yeah.
Which at the time was like, that is just a load of crap. And then in this, he's like, I want $100 a picture. And Jameson's like, all right, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 1960s money. Like, if he got a couple of photos of Spider-Man that covered her rent for a year or her mortgage for a year.
Yeah.
Insane money
Unless
that you got initially.
Plus these $100 a photo able to pay her hospital bills.
Yeah. No socialized medicine in the 60s, I see.
Apparently not. Inflation took hold. This was a fun read. I would recommend it.
Yeah, there's a reason Ditko's a legend, and this is kind of the peak, which, you almost don't want to say because this was back in the 60s. It'd be like a guy who, lived until like a week ago, peaked in the 60s. As far as I know, he did. There might be other examples, like maybe those Mr. A books that I never read have better art, but...
Is that the guy who kills jaywalkers?
Yes.
Okay.
But as far as I know, this is the best stuff of his I've ever seen, and I think it's kind of his peak, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book. Stan's dialogue is good, but what carries this issue is 100% the art.
Oh, the art is fantastic.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine better, like, for the time, and, clearly, I'm a big Kirby fan, but it's, you put this up next to anything. This is some of the best art we've ever looked at.
It works very well. I like everything about it.
Yeah, it's a great issue. Spider-Man number 33, deeply recommended. Buy yourself an omnibus.
Or just find that issue somewhere.
Actually, you know what's so great about this omnibus, which
What?
you don't often get with like this kind of stuff? This omnibus, Amazing Spider-Man omnibus number 1, this is purely, there's some annuals in there that he didn't do, but this is the Lee Ditko run.
Nice.
Omnibus number 2 gets into a different artist.
Mm-hmm.
There's some annuals that have like Kirby doing the art, but for, if you're looking for the Lee Ditko run, Amazing Spider-Man omnibus number 1 is the full run.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's deeply recommended. It's, it's Spider-Man. This is kind of the cornerstone of comics.
Yeah, he's everyone's favorite character.
Yeah, he's top 10 for me.
Yeah. Well, most everyone's
But
favorite character.
still.
But like you said, he's one of the top-selling characters of all time.
I think he's the top-selling character of all time. I mean, with his merchandise alone, he's number one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I wonder who has sold the most comics of all time. I don't
Which
know.
character?
Yeah, I do know.
Do some research for next week.
I have no idea what the answer to that is. Like, instinctively, I want to say Spider-Man, but it could be
Superman.
It could be Superman. It could be Batman. It could be X-Men. It could be Fantastic Four.
As long as it's not Plant Man.
It's definitely not Plant Man. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I wonder who is the top-selling comic character or team of all time.
You know what that question would be better formed as? A letter to the editors.
Oh, so you wrote this letter, so apparently I have to do research. Great letters to the editors!
Now for my favorite part of the show. What did I say? Talk to the audience. Oh, God, this is always dead.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
This week is going to be San Diego Comic-Con 2018, the biggest nerd event of the year.
Excuse me. The biggest nerd event of the year is when we get together in your basement every week.
But there is an interesting panel happening in Hall H, the big space.
Yes.
I'm really dragging this question out and pulling the taffy on it a little bit.
Just
for the question that I had. Deadpool 2 is going to have a panel in Hall H. The question I got was why. I have a half answer to that, which has been announced.
Okay.
They will be showing Deadpool 2, the uncut edition.
Ooh.
But still, a whole panel in Hall H for a movie that's out. They also said, there also might be some other surprises. So I guess the question, other than the half I already answered, is what would we have a conjecture for the other surprises being on a movie that's already been released months ago, or a month or something?
It's going to be a clip. Here we go, because big things happen in all H, right? Everyone's downplayed. Marvel's really not doing a whole lot because they've got D23, and Marvel's like, yeah, we won the year, so we're just going to kind of coast. This is where they show the first clip from Avengers 4 with Deadpool in it.
No, that's too much. I can't buy that. I can't imagine they go on that.
Why not? Josh Brolin will be there. He's Thanos.
Yeah, because I know Ryan Reynolds is going to be there and whatnot, but my guess would be Dark Phoenix trailer or maybe a New Mutants one. We already got one New Mutants one, but then they pushed it so far back up because basically say that trailer is a mulligan.
Could be Dark Phoenix trailer. I could buy that.
Because, I believe that they are going to show the uncut edition. Cool. That's going to be out on home video not terribly far from now, but it feels weird to do a Hall H panel for an extended cut of a movie.
I feel like there's more to it.
what are they going to do? I got to imagine it has to be Dark Phoenix related or New Mutants. Probably not Fantastic Four.
That would be phenomenal, would it not?
Or what if they did an X-Force announcement, like a Deadpool 3 thing? This is going to be our next thing before Disney or AT&T buys us.
No Alpha Force?
No Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight?
No one gives a shit about Alpha Flight.
That's not true. I know people who do.
I got it. My money's on Dark Phoenix.
I'm gonna say that they're gonna get. I'll buy the Dark Phoenix, but I bet that you get a little. Wouldn't it be funny if they played a fake clip of Deadpool turning to ash?
I feel like if they had known about that, that would have been part of Deadpool 2. If they could have snuck that in there, they would have. Because you can't copyright someone turning to ash.
No, you really can't.
If you don't say anything about it, it's just oh man, he disintegrated. You don't have to qualify that. They definitely could have gotten away with that as a gag, but those two movies were too close together for something like that.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm gonna say that there's maybe a little bit of a Deadpool.
That'd be a great gag. You could do it now. There's been enough time. If you do that as a gag, that'd be a great gag.
It'd be a fantastic gag.
Because, for as much as you'd be Your Honor, clearly Deadpool 2 has been stealing from Avengers. We didn't say anything about Thanos. We didn't say anything about Snap or Infinity Stones or anything like that.
Nothing.
There's just a man turning to dust for some reason.
I like it.
I think that would be amazing if they did a gag like that. That'd be great.
That'd be hilarious.
If they did that in the uncut edition. Also, it'd be a lot funnier if they just called it the uncircumcised edition.
I was thinking the same thing, but I was waiting for you to make that joke. That's more Deadpool.
That would be... Because we've seen uncut editions of movies, but that's a much funnier title.
That is uncut, technically, yes, you're right.
But could you sell as many DVDs with it? I'm sure that was a debate they had.
That's the hard R right there.
Yeah, the hardest of R's.
Anyway,
I don't. So yeah, so your guess is Thanos. My guess is Dark Phoenix.
your guess is probably better and smarter and more accurate. Although I would love for it to be some Fantastic Four stuff. That would be cool. That'd be a hell of a way. Although I still like my idea of how you introduce the Fantastic Four into the MCU. You do it as an end credit scene.
I mean, I'd love it, but I don't think we're getting it.
I'm just saying it'd be so cool just to see the Silver Surfer. That's it. That's all you need to see.
That'd be cool too if we got because there was that rumor, or not that rumor, that report that a Silver Surfer movie was happening with Brian K. Vaughan. So maybe if you got even a teaser image or a quick 30-second sizzle reel or something.
No. This would be something that if I were Marvel, I would sit on it until the end credit scene.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'd be a fun thing. Maybe we're gonna get a sizzle reel.
Nope.
Where everyone goes, woo!
Nope. You sit on it and you sit on it until the
nope.
Nope, because there's so much. It's so much in the air if they're ever going to be able to do Fantastic Four.
Well, if they're going to be able to do Fantastic Four,
yes,
because they've done it.
But that
badly.
Would just be because you're talking about. Well, the MCU is going to be transitioning. Think about all of the characters that they're going to transition away from. There's all these Fantastic Four stories to be told. I'm telling you, it's going to be Silver Surfer.
I just want to see Kang or Nihilus. Give me a Nihilus.
See, now you're excited and energetic.
I'm dying on the inside.
Well,
literally and emotionally.
I'm happy on the inside and outside because we have new Patreon subscribers. Let's talk about our Patreon. If you like the show, even if you don't like the show and you got a couple of extra bucks to burn and you need a charity write-off.
It's mostly going, I think I'm 90% sure. What's so weird is we have a greater listenership on this show.
Yes.
But engagement on the other show is far higher.
I think it's because it's more of a niche show.
It could be, yeah. But I mean, people are definitely more on board for that. Did I say this at the top? Boy, what's it been, an hour? And I already forgot what
something like that.
So we've been doing the other show, the Buffy back issue. Man, I got to backtrack on this. The final season is happening right now of Buffy, and we've been doing individual issue reviews as Patreon exclusives before we do our main coverage, because we usually cover an arc for a podcast. And that's definitely been getting a bunch of Patreon people. We've also done the Firefly and Serenity stuff, and since there is going to be more of that in the near future, based on the money that I've been getting, we're also going to start doing those as Patreon exclusive reviews as those come out before we do our main coverage, because hey, follow the money.
There you go.
So yeah, sign up.
Patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. You can also become a Duke of the podcast. Thank you, Dukes. As soon as Sound Guy gets back from
his vacation,
Zach will make him toil over a hot microphone I
sent him an email.
Was it polite?
Yeah, and then I got the automated response.
Was it polite as far as automated responses go?
It was a little misleading. He's like, hey, it's so nice to hear from you. I'm on vacation, so it's not nice to hear from me.
Because you're not listening to me at all.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that. Plus, you get early access for $1 a month. You get this show a day early. You get the Buffy back issue bin, the other show on the network, a whole week early.
Plus Patreon exclusive reviews, and every single week, I don't even know if anyone cares about this, but I've been throwing it up. Top 5 comics of the week. Every single week.
Every single week.
Yeah, I throw up some quick reviews of the best of the best.
Nice.
Early stuff worth checking out.
There you go.
It's easy I shouldn't say easy because it involves more time. Like the last couple of months when it's been there's a Buffy one. All I write up is, I'm releasing a podcast.
Yes.
So those are easy ones.
Old Halloween Day going on, 20% off everything in the store that's not new or last week's issues.
Yeah.
And let's see, you're on the internet everywhere. See, I'm helping you out. Zach's a little under the weather, so I'm bringing the thunder for him. Facebook, Instagram, Gmail.
I wish to be
210 Water Street in Hollowell.
Just energize me.
Can you wait till I'm out of the way before you get, unless you get fantastic and amazing powers?
Probably won't.
That's unfortunate. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? Twitter. Yeah, it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Editors Note Comics, and
.com.
And I'm on Twitter at Junior Rich.
Indeed you are. You didn't tweet much this week.
No, I didn't. My best tweet so far was administering ointment to a cat's eyes like dancing with a chainsaw.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
It's no fun. Poor Vinny Cat. I'm going home to nurse him some more.
It'll be fine.
The most traumatic, I think the whole most traumatic part about this whole thing is that the emergency vet last night, when they took his temperature, I think he took that the worst. Oh yeah, they took his temperature, and he's laying there, and the vet tech
orally.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
They said, "Could you hold his shoulders?" I'm like, okay, and she goes, "Here comes the icky part," and she picks his tail up and right in, and he just goes. Oh.
I didn't like that noise you made.
I didn't like that noise my cat made either. I felt so bad for him.
I more meant the pop that you made.
Oh, that's not the sound that made when it went in or out.
Have we ever told the story about how you left a place you lived for like 4 years because of that cat?
I did, yes.
Have we done it on this show? Have we told that
Yeah, we've
tale?
talked about that
All
on
right.
the show, yeah.
Then it is not a tale for another time because apparently we've spoken about it before.
Yes.
But you abandoned an apartment because you were mad about a cat.
Well, I also needed, to buy a house. I've saved money by buying a house, believe it or not. I have equity now.
I was going to say you have fewer leaks in your roof, but
I
that
also-
might not be true.
No, it's so far so good.
As long as you're not punching holes at the top of it.
Well, in my defense, it was soggy plaster, and I tried to plug the hole of water, and
I more meant the glass.
That's a totally different story. Has nothing to do about anywhere I've ever lived.
I'm just talking about your roof raking, your failed roof raking.
Oh no, that was a shovel. I was on roof level. I was not on ground level when that happened.
My mistake.
Yeah,
I apologize.
You had to be there,
not knowing when you were punching holes in your ceiling.
It wasn't it was a skylight.
A skylight.
There's a big difference.
I apologize.
Yeah, no, I was not happy. I was very upset in that moment. That was a bad day. That was in a string of when we got those 3 20-inch snowstorms right around Christmas and New Year's a couple years ago.
All right, I'm gonna go crawl up into a ball and die. So we'll be back.
I'm gonna go home and look up through my broken skylight that I still haven't fixed completely.
Really?
It's fixed. It's fixed as it's gonna be.
We will be back next week for a thing.
Well, I will be. I don't know if you will be at this rate. You look miserable.
How bloodshot are my eyes?
They're a little foggy. I have some eye ointment. It's for cats, but I'm sure it would help you.
I've smoked so much of the marijuana.
Reefers.
Bringing it back. Also, I have it. But we'll be back next week. We'll see you later.
Reefers.
Yeah, we got it the first 2 times.
That was actually the 3rd time.
Whatever. We'll be back.